Well, let's get more on that story now. Professor Sahar Aziz is an expert in national security and civil rights law, and she joins us from Texas now. The last time we spoke, you were saying how concerned you were about President Trump's plans. Do you feel relieved now?
Well, with this order from Washington, from the district court in Seattle, at least it's a positive development in terms of preserving the due process rights and the Fifth Amendment rights available to thousands, if not tens of thousands, of immigrants who have green cards, who have been living in this country for years, who have homes, who have schools and jobs, in addition to non-immigrants such as students and people with work visas. So I think this is a positive development in terms of preserving basic constitutional rights.
I mean, the White House says their job is to protect American citizens. They are going to appeal. How worried are you that they may win an appeal and in fact make the rules even more stringent?
Well, as we're seeing across the country, we have at least 4 jurisdictions now at the federal district court level in New York, in Virginia, in Massachusetts, and now in Washington, where they are essentially issuing temporary restraining orders. Now, these are temporary injunctions that last a certain amount of time, usually a week, 2 weeks, depending on the judge's ruling, and then they will have hearings on the merits. I suspect some of those temporary restraining orders may become permanent orders, which means they'll go to the appellate court. And depending on if there's a difference among the circuits, it may very well go to the Supreme Court. So this is going to be a long-term legal issue, and it's really a separation of powers issue insofar as the court's role in preserving constitutional rights of individuals, notwithstanding the executive's arguably overreaching and overreacting in the name of national security.
I mean, there will be people who will be saying, this is what we voted for the president to do.
Yes, but national security doesn't entail, or doesn't have to entail, punishing collectively millions, tens of millions of people who happen to have the citizenship of 7 states who are Muslim majority. This is effectively a partial Muslim ban. It's not a full Muslim ban because it's not every Muslim majority country, but every one of those 7 countries are Muslim majority, and not every one of their citizens is a potential terrorist. So I think that even though they may have voted for Trump, I don't think that not everyone voted for the America to engage in such blatant religious discrimination.
All week we have been hearing stories of families that have been separated by this law, or families who've been unable to have their relatives come over. Have you heard any reaction from those communities, those people within the United States?
Yes, in Dallas, Fort Worth, where I live, there were hundreds of families that have been affected because their family members couldn't come. They had anticipated that they were coming either to visit them, or they came as students, or they have H-1B visas, which are work visas, but also many green card holders. And these are people who had planned trips, weeks in advance, and suddenly found that they could not get home and they could not visit. And oftentimes they were elder people, children, people who had medical conditions, and they found themselves up to 15 to 20 hours stuck at the airport being interrogated by Customs and Border Patrol, and sometimes being coerced into filing waivers of their rights.
So basically, are we going to see a situation where over the coming weeks, it's almost like a window where the people that hadn't been able to get into the United States now try and do so?
Yeah, it's all going to depend on whether Customs and Border Patrol, which is a division of the Department of Homeland Security, if they're going to, in fact, enforce this temporary restraining order that is out of Washington and is nationwide. There was a similar nationwide temporary restraining order that came out of Massachusetts. So there could be a constitutional crisis if the Department of Homeland Security refuses to implement and enforce those orders. So there's a lot still up in the air, but as you can imagine, many lawyers and judges and law professors are very eager to see how this balance of power is going to pan out, and to what extent the Constitution is going to prevail.
All right, Professor Sahar Aziz, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.